From what has been said, it is sufficiently stated that God is the end of all things, whence it may be further inferred that he governs or governs all things by his providence. For whenever things are ordered to some end, everything is subject to the disposition of that to which that end principally belongs, as appears in the army. For all the parts of the army and their works are ordered to the good of the leader, which is victory as to the last end. And for this reason it belongs to the general to govern the whole army. In the same way, the art which is about the end commands and gives laws to the art which is about the things that are for the end, as the civil military and the military cavalry and the art of piloting the ships. When, therefore, all things are ordered to the divine goodness as to the end, as has been shown, it must be that God, to whom that goodness principally belongs, as it is substantially lived and understood and loved, is the governor of all things. Still, whoever does something for the sake of an end uses it for that end. Now it was shown above that all things that have their being in any way are the effects of God, and that God does all things for the sake of the end, which is himself. He therefore makes use of all by directing them to their end. But this is to govern. God, therefore, by his providence, is the governor of all things. Further, it has been shown that God is the first mover and not the unmoved. But the first mover does not move less than the second mover, but more, because without it the others do not move. But everything that is moved because of an end, as was shown above. Therefore, God moves all things to their ends, and through the understanding. For it has been shown above that he does not act through the necessity of nature, but through the understanding and the will. Now there is nothing else to rule and govern by providence than to move things to an end by the understanding. God, therefore, through his providence governs and governs all things that are moved to an end, whether they be moved bodily or spiritually, as the desiring is said to be moved by the desired. Again, it has been proved that natural bodies move and work for the sake of an end, although they do not know the end, from the fact that what is better always or often happens in them, and they would not be otherwise if they were done by art. Now it is impossible that things which do not know the end should work for the sake of the end and arrive at it in an orderly manner, unless they are moved by someone who has knowledge of the end. Just as an arrow is directed to the target by the archer, it is therefore necessary that the whole operation of nature be ordered by some knowledge. And this indeed must be brought back to God either mediately or directly. For it is necessary that all lower art and knowledge receive principles from the higher, as also appears in the speculative and operative sciences. God therefore governs the world by his providence. Still, those things which are distinct according to their nature do not fit into one order unless they are brought together by one orderer. But in the universe of things, there are things distinct and having opposite natures, which nevertheless all come together in one order, while some receive the operations of others, and some are even helped or commanded by others. It is necessary, therefore, that there should be one organizer and controller of the universe. Further, of those which appear in the motions of the heavenly bodies, the reason cannot be assigned from the necessity of nature, since some of them have more motions than others, and are altogether deformed. It is necessary, therefore, that the regulation of these movements should be by some providence, and as a consequence of all the lower movements and operations which are arranged by those movements. Again, the nearer a thing is to the cause, the more it participates in its effect. Hence, if something is shared more perfectly by some people, the closer they come to a thing, it is a sign that that thing is the cause of that which is shared in different ways. Just as if some things are hotter in proportion as they are closer to fire, it is a sign that fire is the cause of heat. Now things are found to be more perfectly ordered, the more closely they are to God. For in the lower bodies, which are the most distant from God by nature's dissimilarity, there is sometimes a deficiency from that which is according to the course of nature, as is evident in monstrous and other casuals, which never happens in the heavenly bodies, which, however, are in some way changeable, which does not happen in separate intellectual substances. It is evident, therefore, that God is the cause of the whole order of things. He is therefore, by his providence, the governor of the whole universe of things. Still, as has been proved above, God brought all things into existence, not from the necessity of nature, but through his understanding and will. But the understanding and the will itself can have no other ultimate end than its goodness. That is to say, that it may communicate it to things, as appears from the foregoing. But things partake of the divine goodness by way of similitude, inasmuch as they are good in themselves. Now that which is the most good in caused things is the good of the order of the universe, which is the most perfect, as the Philosopher says, to which the divine scripture also agrees. Genesis 1, when it is said, God saw all that he had made, and they were very good, when he had simply said of each work that they were good. Therefore, the good of the order of things caused by God is that which is especially willed and caused by God. There is nothing else to govern things than to impose order upon them. Therefore God himself governs all things by his understanding and will. Further, everyone aiming at some end cares more about that which is nearer to the last end, because this is also the end of others. Now the ultimate end of the divine will is its goodness, to which the closest thing in created things is the good of the order of the whole universe. When to it is ordered as to the end, every particular good of this or that thing, just as the less perfect is ordered to that which is more perfect, and hence every part is found to exist because of its whole. Therefore, what God cares about most in created things is the order of the universe. He is therefore his pilot. Again, every created thing achieves its ultimate perfection through its proper operation. For the ultimate end and perfection of the thing must be either the operation itself, or the limit or effect of the operation. But the form according to which the thing is the first perfection, as is clear in De Anima 2. Now the order of caused things according to the distinction of natures and their degree proceeds from divine wisdom, as was shown in the 2nd chapter. Therefore also the order of operations, by which the things caused come nearer to the ultimate end. But to order the actions of certain things to an end is to govern itself. God, therefore, through the providence of his wisdom, ensures the governance and governance of things. Hence it is that the Holy Scripture declares God to be Lord and King, according to the words of the Psalms, God himself is the Lord. And likewise the God of the King of all the earth, for it is the kings and lords to rule and govern those who are subject to his rule. Whence also the course of things is ascribed by the Holy Scriptures to the divine precept, Job 9:7, who commands the sun, and it does not rise, and closes the stars as if under a seal. And in the Psalm, he set a precept, and it will not pass away. By this, however, the error of the ancient naturalists is excluded, who said that all things proceed from the necessity of matter. from which it followed that all things happen by chance, and not by any order of providence.